Hey guys, welcome to another news breakdown here on Sotopop. Alright, as always, I'm your host, Frozen Stratos, and today, obviously, we're going to be taking a look at the Kamen Rider Candy Toy News blog, but before we dive into that, I did want to mention that the MiniPla blog updated with the Zenkai canon. There wasn't too much to say, since they didn't, tease anything new. There wasn't any, Bakutaro teases or anything in there, or any Yudo teases, so that's why we're kind of glossing over it, but they did form a very big Megazord with it, so that's cool. Definitely check that out if you are inclined. But hey, let's dive into the Kamen Rider blog itself, and for us today we have, that's right, Evil! Seeing as though it's Halloween, happy Halloween everybody, if you're celebrating, they decided to give us a whole bunch of Evil boys. This one is specifically Kamen Rider Evil, and genuinely, he looks so good. This is one of the figures that they are quite proud of, accomplishing. If you take a look at this dude's design, he has a whole bunch of paint spatter on him, and they noted that as a very non-standard, non-traditional sort of, design scheme, specifically since, none of it actually is, following any sort of pattern on the suit or anything like that. And they found it, quite difficult, but they realized after working on Decade Complete 21 and also all the cross-saber forms, this was probably just a cakewalk. So they were able to really get this on there, and I think they did a wonderful job with it. And you can see, they didn't point this out, a specific detail I really like is that the painted zipper on the elbow continues into the elbow joint so that you don't lose that detail as you're moving it. I love it so much. I'm so happy to see that. But yeah, outside of that, the paint spatter is done quite well, and I believe Malunis brought it up in our live stream that you can go check out, that it does sort of remind him and me of Kenzan. And is it Kenzan? It's the green dude from Saber. We'll talk about him later. Yeah, I think that's his name. But yeah, either way, it looks pretty good. I do like this. And that's one of their top serious points that they wanted to get across. Another one that they wanted to touch on is this. So typically, they break Soto off into the front half and the back half, and they leave the back of the collar on the back, like the back half of the figure. But in this instance, they wanted to make sure that from the side, if you're looking at it from the side, you won't have a huge seam line. So they decided to mold the entire thing in one go and give him that really distinct collar without breaking in between. I love it. I absolutely appreciate that attention to detail. I don't know, it's small things like that that make me know, or that let us know that Soto's dedicated to bringing us, the best possible product they can. And also, you still get that zipper detail there. I cannot get over that, because the way that the individual tiny zipper hangs there isn't, it looks so good. It looks so accurate, and it looks like a zipper at that small scale. It's so good. Anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about his head, because actually this thing is fully molded in gunmetal gray, so they did actually have to paint the entirety of the head. Now, the paint spatter eyes, those are actually done in sticker, but the eye stickers are made to match the matte black that was painted onto the rest of the head, and it is as pointy as a age 3 and up toy can get, so no fault of their own. It looks just good enough. And they wanted to make specific note of the matte black paint because it contrasts really well with this really nice metallic green. They wanted to make it extra shimmery so it pops against all that black, and I gotta say, it absolutely works. We also get another instance here of the belt detail, and like we talked about toward the beginning of this line, they wanted to make sure, once again, this looks good from all angles, including the belt. So you get all those intricate little details picked out here. And also, obviously, sticker on the belt. Unavoidable, totally understand. Anyway, moving on. We have the knees, which are, I don't want to say different because it lines up with most of what Soto's done before, But if you remember the initial blog, they did say they moved the knee pad all the way up to the upper thigh, just so that, you know, it would look more accurate and be more seamless. Yeah, be a lot more seamless. But in this instance, it turns out the shin guard was actually attached to the knee pad in the show, which was something they did not know ahead of time. They just sort of had to guess, and they assumed that that was the case. Thankfully, they landed on the right thing, and this is very much accurate. So I love the look of this, but you do get to see that sort of difference in what the knee pad looks like when it's connected to the shin rather than the thigh. There's that little sort of cutout there that's quite visible. Anyway, moving on. We do have his main weapon here. It does have that odd angle to it, and it is also done up in a very nice, well, it's done up in a sticker. It gets all the very intricate details in there, so I definitely appreciate it. They printed some black on black to really try to make those other details and crevices pop, and it's doing... It's a valiant effort, you know, it looks fine. There's that little fleck of green there at where he typically holds it, so I think this is a win. However, the backside is a bit empty. We have some meat removal, and we have a little bit of numbering there. Once again, entirely unavoidable. If you followed this for any amount of time, you'll know that larger, thicker pieces of plastic don't fly well in terms of molding. They can't mold that all in there without having to cut things out, because otherwise the plastic will crack just due to how the plastic cools, shrinks, and then, you know, everything collapses around it. So in order to keep the plastic cooling at the right, I guess, thickness, they need to have it thin when they put it in a mold. Anyway, that's a little bit of material science. Moving on now. We can see all these guys hanging out together, but apparently that doesn't happen because, you know, they all hate each other, I think. I don't actually watch this show. I've seen episode 1. But they look pretty good. I do especially like this new figure. I think they just knocked it out of the park with this one. They were just so happy to talk about it. And unlike our spider friend here, I think he was... Is that one live? Or is it... No, this one's evil. I don't know who the Spider-Man is, but he didn't have open hands. Thankfully, Evil does have open hands, so that's good. That's a positive. That is it for this guy. He comes out in by 3, so he won't be out for quite a bit. But remember, last week we did say that we are still going to get updates about Buy 2, because there were some accessory sets, or accessory things to talk about, and honestly, it became some of the most exciting things to talk about yesterday. Let's dive into the first thing, because it's Saber again! And if you can't see what's going on here, Blades is actually getting the closed version of his belt. Yes! It looks great. I'm happy with this. It looks quite accurate. You know, it was quite jarring that Saber got one and nobody else did. I just thought we were going to leave it at that since, you know, he's the main rider. He just sort of gets that. But no, Soro has just continued to give us even more stuff. We also have some for Espada as well. Taking a closer look, all the details are there that you need. Each of them get their own individual one. You're not going to have to share. It would be especially hard to share because their hilts are very different. So I appreciate this. This looks very, very good. Anyway, that is it for, I think, the Espada and Blades inclusions, but that's not it for the Saber inclusions, or the show Saber. Not anyway. The next item is Kenzan's Shuriken. Windmill Shuriken? Does he do that, or is that a Naruto thing only? I don't know. Either way, this happened because everybody in the surveys was clamoring for just, you know, the regular Shuriken, something that isn't cut off and stumped out. So this looks really good. On top of that, he comes with a dedicated hand to hold it in this position. It's been a while since we've gotten something like this, like that sort of hand, so it is nice to see that again. And once again, this is a call to action to definitely fill out those surveys. Obviously, get the figures in first so you can evaluate them properly. But yeah, fill out the surveys. It's a good time, and we get things like this. So basically this is a comparison between the actual one and the I guess sort of shrunken down one. They did note that, like, hey, we were actually able to work on this after the show and we know what the prop looks like, and it did look smaller, so they were able to make this more accurate in turn. Love it. Love it. So yeah, that is it for Kenzan stuff. Let us now move on into I guess, yeah, some more oh no, Revice stuff. So yeah, here's something new. Can you see it? Do you know what this is? Here, let me get a different picture in here. We now have an angled hand. This is starting to become a sort of staple, and honestly, it was very difficult for me to tell what was going on from the beginning, but it does seem to make a difference when you look at it side by side, and definitely helps for fighting poses and whatnot. So, like I said, this is sort of becoming a Soto staple, and something that everyone's really happy about in the surveys, so they just wanted to throw it in almost immediately. So that's very cool. These accessory sets are starting to, you know, really fill themselves out and, you know, really justify their place inside the set, and I like it. I like it a lot. Hopefully we get some more stuff in the future. But that's not all for the accessory set, because there's one more thing. Have you ever had just too many accessories that you did not know what to do with? Not all of this is going to end up fitting on a stand. Well, that's where this comes in. Their mysterious case! They actually named this, I believe, the stand case. Or at least I'm calling it the stand case. But at some point they were throwing around the name Tamashii Stage Act Soto, which I really like. But this is just a storage portion that attaches to the case. Or storage portion that attaches to the stage. And there are many, many things that this one little piece of plastic, or I guess two pieces of plastic, can do. First off, obviously, it stores all your stuff. Very helpful for that. It also stores all the things that don't have a place to peg into on the display arm. So that's really awesome. On top of that, there are holes at the bottom of each stand that correspond to this one peg that sticks out. So that means you can put this stand on top of the case. And in turn, you can plug it in and make it a little bit of a riser. And you're securing your stuff, so it's a little accessory carrier if you want. On top of that, it elevates your figure even higher. I feel like this is the best natural progression of what they did last year in Saber, where they just put the random pegs underneath the display base and said, hey, you can do two-tiered, you know, displays, and that didn't really look good. This looks good. It is sturdy, it is solid, it's adding to what you already have. Genuinely, the only issue I have with this is that it does not come with more. Specifically because of this port. This port actually plugs into another Tamashii Stage Act Soto thing. That means you can stack them in perpetuity. You're only getting one in this set! I want more! I want so many more of this thing! This just looks so fun, adds so many possibilities to your display. I'm blown away by this. It's such a simple little thing, but I feel like this is the thing that elevates Soto, like quite literally elevates Soto to another level, because it really helps for your display. Like it's helping the collectors out. Like I said, I just wish there were more of these included, because you're really only getting one. Speaking of which, let's take a look at everything you're getting in the accessory set, or everything they announced just now. Very cool stuff here. And on top of that, the accessory sets are going to come with, you know, the rest of the stuff to turn them into the combined forms. It's not their fault, blah blah blah. Here are the layouts of these two. So all these accessories that you've seen, they have been spread out between these two, so you are going to need both of these if you would like to participate in that. Also, here's a full layout for Buy 2. This is actually coming out at the end of November, so your wallet's going to be resting for quite a while, and that's awesome. Especially since there have been shipping delays going on right now. This, you know, if you're ordering from HLJ or AmiAmi, you might end up having to ship this in December, and you might be able to, like, lump that in with some of the other orders in that month. Hopefully, I don't know, but it's very promising. So I'm definitely excited for this set. Anyway, that is it for Shodo Revice. Let us now move on into Shodo Chronicle. So, like I said, we are continuing our look at the very evil boys, and this is a very awesome Ouja figure that they decided to reveal to us today. Well, we kind of already knew about it, but here's the front side of the guy, here's the back side of the guy. It does seem like we are possibly getting either paint or stickers back. It's really tough to tell what's going on with the back, and they did not go into too much detail about it, so I can't tell if the purple back there is sticker or it is paint. Part of me is thinking it's sticker back there, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me know in the comments what you think. Also, if you remember, they've specifically made this body for Ouja because he's supposed to have a thicker stature, and they wanted to represent that here, and they said, hey, we might want to use this base body sometime in the future for something else. Wonder what that could be. But that's, you know, that's what this is for. That's why they decided to compare the two. I think it would have been a little more helpful if they had another black base suit next to him, just to, like, I don't know, make that a little easier to see. Either way, this looks very good. On top of that, they wanted to note that, hey, the head is fully painted. This is completely painted. You don't have to do anything with it. Even the little gold trim pieces on the head, that's all done in paint, and it looks very, very good. Speaking of paint, we have metallic purple across almost the entire figure, and they were really adamant about making sure that happened, and it really shows. It really shines here. Here's a look at the legs. Obviously, it seems like some stickers are, you know, sort of filling in those gaps in terms of the backs of the legs and whatnot. Totally understandable. Totally get it. We also have his Veno visor. I definitely remember that name. So it comes in both versions, the opened and the closed version, to make it look like you're loading it. He also has extra hands. This is a specifically molded hand for him because, you know, this is how he loads in the cards. And that's not to say he doesn't come with the other card holding hands. Another very unique one, though, that he does come with is this 2-card holding hand to recreate one specific scene where he's holding 2 cards. It was a very pivotal scene, apparently, so I won't show what happens, but they wanted to make sure that they got that specifically. That's awesome. These guys are nerds, and they know it, and they wanted to make sure all of your display options were here. And I love that. This is another time where they said they wanted to itch something where it didn't scratch. You know that expression, you know, scratching an itch? This is an extension of that. I don't know. They're just itching you, and it feels really weird when it's translated. This metaphor has gotten away from me, and I don't like it. So let's move on, because he does have the standard card holding hand, and this one is specifically notable because the sticker included is blank. It lets you, I don't know, make it look like you're contracting other monsters and collecting all of your Pokemon. So yeah, make sure to purchase the Genocider set because then you get all of these guys. It's a very impressive look. And, you know, I guess don't miss out. Hopefully you have the money. I don't. I'm missing out on this, and I'm very sad, but dang, these look cool. Anyway, this is great. The final accessory that they wanted to talk about was the, I believe this is the Venosaber. So yeah, this is done up in almost all paint. The only thing that is stickered here is the pommel. I want to call that the pommel. It's the butt of the handle. So that looks good. I really think that gold looks good. This is one of the quintessential Ouja things that they wanted to make sure was in this set. A lot of, or some, maybe 2 or 3 other figures had their accessories moved to the premium Bandai sets, but this one was a must-have for them, so they made sure it got in. Anyway, that's really it for this guy. Next week, we're going to be talking about Kamen Rider Night Survive. So that's really fun. Can't wait for that. But yeah, anyway, that's actually it for me. Really, the only thing that the blog said was, hey, next week, there's no superhero time, but there is going to be a blog, which is very strange for them. So definitely come back here to check out our coverage of that. We're also going to be doing the live stream the day it goes up. We're going to be doing the Twitter coverage, and obviously we're going to be doing the news on it. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Also, there are links in the description down below that you need to take a look at, because some of them are for some Zenkai merch that I made myself, and more importantly, there are links to how you can help support the Black Lives Matter movement, the hashtag Stop Anti-Asian Hate, and also links to donate to the Trevor Project. Thank you so much for watching. Keep it.